Coming back onto the Blight set here. Unfortunately, we did have some stream issues, so we apologize for the wait, but we are back here in pretty good time. So we're going to be having Sympathy on the killer here for their team and seeing if they can meet the win con of a 4K3, since the last killer did get a 4K2 on the Blight versus Sympathy Survivors. We're going to be seeing them take this chase into the top side, getting rid of that main pallet nice and early, and going to be taking chase onto our Zarina. Does a great job playing that little rock there, and they are going to be able to get that tag. Zarina is going to be moving it into the bottom side of the map, where there are a lot of open generators that aren't blocked by Corrupt Intervention. But actually, I just realized that our killer does not have Corrupt Intervention, so bit unusual to see. I am so used to seeing it that I didn't even notice that it wasn't there. Zarina going to be faking the pallet, not going to be going down quite yet. Our killer trying to get an early down as fast as possible, but unfortunately just going to be missing these swings. And they do get the down on this Orman tile. Maybe a little bit of Pokos there, but they will get the down nonetheless. And they're going to, it looks like, take them topside and try and hook them in this topside 4-gen they have up here. And if the survivors were stacking out a gen, which most likely were, considering it is an S tier, we should be seeing a gen pop here shortly. There it is. They did choose to pop a generator in that bot side part of the map, and this gen also has a lot of progress. Claudette trying to crouch and deny the tag, but they're still going to get hit, and our killer, kind of like last game, is just going to be committing to this chase. Not really interested in that first tunnel out. Maybe trying to avoid the decisive strike, but Claudette doing a great job going for the inner vault and delaying the down for a little bit, but our Blight is going to be able to use 4 rushes to get that down and get another hook stage on the board. So I think this is a little bit slower of a pace compared to last game, since the survivors have popped a gen here already, but still in a good position, especially with Ruin up here. They do pop that second gen in the top side, so we still do have a 3-gen up here, but the split is decent enough for the survivors. If they wanted to just sit on bot side gens, they could meet that win con pretty simply. And Jake doing a great job here denying the flick from the Blight and continuing his chase for even longer. And there is a filler pallet in the top side right here. Does he make it? He does. Not going to be able to get that down. Ace trying to help out with the flashlight blind. Not going to get it, so our killer will just be, I think, getting this down here onto the Jake. Yep, they're not going to be able to make that window vault. Ace is nearby with a flashlight, so our killer is just going to slug and go for a quick tag. And they are going to get it, so generating that pressure, kind of like our last killer did, not really going for the immediate pickup, going to be going for a slug here, I think. Yep, going to be going for that double slug, and I think Ace is going to force a locker here. Yep, and just going to be staying in, so that will already be the 3rd generator of the game popping. That is already the Tycon for Team Archon here. And I think our killer would need to just leave this Jake slugged and go for a couple more slugs if they want to meet the Tycon here. Using Ruin to regress those generators and just make as much pressure as they possibly can. But actually going to be picking the Jake, doesn't find anybody stealthing for the pull. It's very possible that there's at least one survivor just sitting on a generator right now. So definitely cannot afford to go back to the hook. You have to go and pressure these survivors off their generators. Not going to be able to get this hit. I think that is a balanced landing coming out from our Zarina. Going to buy herself a lot of distance, and our Blight is not going to be getting a free hit. They're going to be making it to this filler pallet, and our Blight is just bloodlusting this, trying to force the Zarina to make a mistake. And actually, we do hear a little ding in the background. I think our killer is doing a little bit more than just bloodlusting. I think they are trying to play for a down with a certain Devour Hope, but Zarina is just doing so good, winning every single 50-50. But unfortunately, the speed from Devour Hope and Bloodlust is going to be getting him that down, and that does reveal Devour Hope to the survivors. So Ruin is still up, and Devour is still up, so they are either going to have to really crank out a gen and hope their survivors have a long chase, or they're going to start doing totems. is going down to check on his generators and catches 2 survivors out, actually, one of which is an injured ace, so he could use his rushes to get this down here. And our killer actually wants to commit to the healthy survivor here, even though it would require him to commit to an M1 chase, but Jake is just forcing that edge map, and suddenly this really good start that our survivors had, popping 3 generators for 3 hook stages, is starting to look a little bit scary. Ruin has been regressing these generators while the survivors have been preoccupied with getting pulls and healing one another. And I think if our killer does get a Mori here, it might become very tricky for our survivors, as they would be in the 3v1 much earlier than you would typically anticipate. And does find 2 survivors here trying to stack out these gens, like I said, trying to get that crank out, but I think this is going to be the death on the Claudette, who, if I'm correct, has been hooked once, so gonna be losing an extra hook stage here. And yeah, that is going to be the Mori. Our survivors have chosen not to go for the totem cleansing, just trying to stack out a generator and meet that win con as fast as they can. Zarina trying to bait our killer here, I think, by forcing him to Mori while those 2 stack out a generator bot side, but our killer, quite a good decision here, running it down, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough. They are going to pop that generator regardless. I mean, they must have hopped on that immediately. So they are going to be popping that generator here. We are going to still see our killer going for this chase and trying to secure a good result here for himself, but unfortunately that is going to be the win for Archon, as they have popped the 4 generators that were required. So, like I said, good on Archon's killer for securing such a high win con. Had they gotten the 4k1 and the survivors popped 4 gens, this would be a very different situation, but he did get the 4k2, so that will help his team get victory here. And he's going to leave the Jake and just go into this top side part of the map. Doesn't want to let them pop that 5th and final generator, so he is going to be finding the Zarina here, and she will be getting away. Our killer a little bit unsure of where she is, but she has actually just stayed on logs and done a little double back to get away here. That will be the down, and our killer trying to go for a Mori, but unfortunately missing. And yeah, we're going to be seeing 2 Devour Hope Moris. That's a bit interesting. You don't really see that too often, as I mean, Devour is not really something that's super frequently chosen, and typically the survivors would have cleansed it by now, but our killer has just been running around with 5 stacks of Devour for at least a couple minutes, so and he might even get the quadruple Devour Hope Mori, which would be kind of funny to see in a competitive match. Going to be taking chase onto the Jake here, forcing him to make a 50 on this window. That is a Lithe coming out and getting our Jake some distance here. And is our killer wanting to commit to this? It looks like they are. Looks like they maybe wanted to go topside for a minute there, but going to choose to commit. And unfortunately not getting that down, breaking the pallet instead. And so Jake is going to be able to continue on this chase for a little bit while longer, but our killer's not interested. They really just want to secure that 4k1, but the survivors have done a great job of baiting the killer into chasing the other survivors so that they could pop 1 or 2 more gens. So the Zarina did it, and I think the Jake did it here. So they are going to be popping all 5 generators, and it's very possible that Jake will open a door and get out, or just get hatch here, because this is all the way on the other side of the map, so our Jake doesn't even have to push the doors, he can just go for hatch. Yep, and that will be the Jake getting out to the hatch, so really impressive result getting outs against Blight. So we'll be back here shortly with an artist set with Sympathy on the killer and Archon on the surfs once again. Hello everybody, we are back with the artist set here. We're going to be having Sympathy on the killer once again, and just going to be sending some birds into this other side of the map, trying to see if they can catch any survivors as early as possible. They do get some birds onto this arena, so they do have some info on one of the survivors, and not going to be fully committing up to the top side quite yet. Sending birds onto the cross, seeing if anybody is stealthing on that edge map, waiting for an early cross, but nobody is quite yet. They are also birding their ruin here, trying to make sure nobody's on it, and see if they can keep it up for as long as possible and get as much value as they can. They did see some crows fly up over here on that dumpster, but doesn't find a survivor. So they're just going to be walking over to this right side and just continuing to try and find a survivor out of position. It's very common for artist sets. There's usually not a lot of hard committing in the early game. They're usually just waiting on the cross to see if they can find anybody, trying to move up or down the map. And this game is no difference. They are going to be sending birds to their generators on the bot side, just in case they did miss somebody going for that cross, but not finding anybody quite yet. They could technically be down there just dodging those birds and crouching, making sure they aren't getting seen with Killer Instinct. But for now, our killer will assume nobody's down there, and going to be going to this top side of the map where the ruin has been cleansed. Going to be getting a good bird on our Zarina here, and looks like going to be finally committing to this chase here. Does get the hit through the window, and now going to see if they can get a snipe here. And they're not going to get it. Zarina is going to make it over to this tile here, but unfortunately choosing the side of the maze tile with no pallet or window, so our killer is just going to play patient and wait for them to cross, and they will be going and getting that down there. So that is going to be a pain resonance coming out on one of the survivors across the map, and our killer is going to be just camping for now, going to be patrolling their gens with their bird. Once again, very common for artists to kind of just sit and patrol generators from a distance. And yeah, they are just very content sitting here on this hook and trying their best to confirm the second stage. You see, they do have that forced hesitation, so all the more reason to just sit here, and if somebody tries to go for a trade, it won't really work out for the survivors, since that forced hesitation will basically guarantee the survivor on hook will not make it anywhere, and they will be getting that down once again. Not hitting any birds on these survivors across the map. Maybe they are on one of the generators that they are not sending birds to, or maybe they are just dodging, but not going to be getting any info, so for the killer, they are lacking a lot of information here. So they are just going to be going and sitting right on top of this, hard confirming the second stage does come through. No generator has popped yet. And there is the first generator of the game going, right as I say that, and the second gen as well. So they are focusing that bot side gen spread, getting it out of the way. And I imagine we will see a hook save coming in here shortly to get the Zarina to that bottom side of the map. There is a chance that they're just sitting on that far generator over there, and they will let Zarina die and go into this 3v1 with that perfect gen spread. But as I say that, that third generator across the map does pop, so you know for a fact that they are going to have to come in for the save here. You do see two survivors running in for the double save. Very smart decision here. Make sure that nobody else gets hooked in this top side of the map where you have this 3-gen. Not able to force the trade there, so Zarina is going to get out. Nobody's going to have to trade, and she is just going to be running it into this bottom side of the map, not choosing to play the pallet. Somebody is coming in for a hit tank, but not going to make it, and so that will be the down on Zarina. The ace is already healed. I'm not certain if we'll make it as allowed, but that was a very fast heal coming out onto the ace, so Zarina will be dead here, and that will be the 3v1 being forced at 2 generators remaining. And you do see they have this 3-gen in the top left side of the map, so our killer does have something to work with here. When you go into the 3v1 on these split maps, you usually want to go in with that perfect 2-2 split, but unfortunately, they will be going over the 3-gen, and Nancy is also going to be giving a tag here, so looks like she's going to be dying in this top side of the map, which means she's going to be another hook in this 3-gen here, and it's going to make it really difficult for our survivors to push the 3-gen and safely secure all generators popping here. There is a chance that somebody is on that bottom side of the map, finishing out that last bottom side generator, but right now the artist's focus is all on this top side 3-gen, rightfully so. Just holding this as tightly as you can will kind of help you secure that 4K1 which is a pretty common result for Artists, and definitely a good win con to give your team, just to pop all 5 generators. So gonna be holding this cross and just checking their gens from a distance, just like earlier. No reason to change things up. You do kind of have an idea of what works here. That is a Sprint Burst coming out. And just going to be eating that BT, and Nancy is just going to be booking into the bottom side of the map. So they do have a good chance of bringing this back here if our artist does choose to commit to this bot side. But they are just choosing to walk back up. No reason for them to commit to the Nancy there. They're just going to be committing to this 3-gen and seeing if they can find the ace up here. Doing the wrong thing, maybe out of position. And not finding anybody quite yet. I think we might have seen a crow on the edge map over on 10, but I'm not too certain if that is where they are stealthing. So our killer isn't too certain either, and they're not going to be able to find anybody quite yet. The generator does have progress, so you know somebody is up here. But, oh, and there he is. And it looks like this will be a tag. Knowing that your survivors did reset in the bottom side of the map, if you make this chase quick, it could be worth it to commit just to get another hook stage on the board and push one of the survivors closer to that death. Ace doesn't really have anything over here besides an LT, so definitely not a bad idea to just commit to this chase here, and they are going to be getting that fast down that we were talking about, so that will give them another hook stage, and they will still be able to just walk it back up the map and continue to check those generators. So definitely not a bad position for our killer to be in here. I think because Ace is hooked in the bottom side, it is still manageable for our serves. This also isn't a really tight 3-gen. So I think it is definitely manageable, and it really could just go either way here. Does find the Nancy, and if they are able to get a snipe here, I think that would kind of change the game in their favor. Since they would be zoned topside, but Nancy does a good job. No reason to throw herself in the way of that bird and give a snipe, so they are just going to be taking the tag, and she's going to be running it to mid-map, trying to make her way down to the bottom side. Trying to predict that the Nancy would play the pallet, but there's really no reason to. They are just going to be just full sending at bottom and making sure the other survivors can get as much progress as they want on these topside generators. I don't really know where these what generator these survivors are planning on doing here, but it looks like they are committed to working this 11-gen and maybe that top mid-gen. I think main is a bit unsafe to work. Ace is stealthing here right by that gen on 11, but our killer did not catch him out, so well played from him. They are going to get that reset on the Nancy across the map. And our killer just choosing to dry kick these generators here. And I think our killer might believe that all the survivors are bottom side because they didn't find the ace on that top side. They are going to be committing for the Jake right now, but not going to be able to get that tag. A swing and a miss to the pallet. And just going to be heading back up to this 3-gen. I imagine this will be a very slow game of them just watching this 3-gen for the next few minutes until one side makes a mistake and loses that war of attrition. So Ace doing a really good job of keeping himself hidden at all times on this gen on 11. It's not really safe since there's really not anything to work with up in that top left corner. So, best play for him is either to pre-run or to stealth, and I think stealthing is the decision they've gone with since I will deny the killer as much info as possible. Checking his generator, and at this point, I think you have to know that he's hiding somewhere really close by, but I think I'm just worried they don't have the time to check it. If they do find Ace up there at any point, I think that would be a really good swing for them, since he would be all the way in topside, and they could just walk him down and probably get the down somewhere in that topside area. Just sending birds to this generator, trying to regress this gen while they keep an eye on that 11-gen. Both survivors are here. Just waiting for our killer to step away so that they can hop on this mid-generator and stack it out. So it's very smart from our survivors, trying to do the gens that are far away from each other, ignoring that main gen and just going for a double here, and letting Ace kind of safely push that gen on 11. And since he's not getting hit with these crows, and not really getting caught out, it is kind of working really well for our survivors here. I'm not too sure, it's a bit hard to tell if that gen is still regressing, so I'm not too certain when our killer is going to commit to something here. They have actually opted to stop stacking this and go for the three-way split, maybe deciding that it's too risky for Ace to just be working that 11 gen by himself, so splitting the killer's attention 3 ways might be the best way to go. That is what they are choosing to do right now, but Jake is going to be giving a hit deep in this top side, and is this alive coming out? No, I don't think it is, so he is going to be running it to the bot side, but I think there's a good chance our killer will get this last fresh hook here. And yeah, he is going to be getting hit to that pallet, so that will be the down. And our killer's going to go for the pickup here, maybe try and secure a pain res to deny them any of that gen progress that they may already have. But, I mean, this is that slow 3-gen artist game, just holding a side of the map, forcing the survivors to make mistakes, and just slowly chipping away at their hook stages. That is a pain res as well. It hit this generator, so you know that that other gen isn't too terribly progressed. Nancy already here for the unhook. And they're going to be getting it for free. Going to give a tag now and a bird, and the question is, will this be a snipe? I don't think it is. I think Nancy's doing a good job dodging here. And swinging through, I think that could have been a down had that swing not come through, but unfortunately, they did swing, they did miss, and so the Nancy will get some more time bought for her here. Trying to just deny the bird tag as much as possible, but they're still going to be going down to that M1 tag. And this will be the 7th hook stage of the game coming through. I believe this is the 2nd stage on the Nancy. I think there is all 3 fresh hooks, but it looks like that is going to be that last generator popping. So that Nancy going for that really quick pull perfectly just took the pressure off that gen that Ace was working and allowed him to pop it here. So it's kind of a little bit of what they were doing in the Blight game, just showing themselves playing really hyper-aggressive to deny that gen spread. And that door, I think that did have lights on it, but I don't think our killer noticed or maybe did not care. So I'm going to be just letting it go and heading into this bot side of the map. The best way to kind of get the best win condition here would be to see if they can get a really fast down onto the Jake, but I think there's a good chance he'd still make it all the way topside, so I think our killer might just want to play for the Nancy here. Definitely wouldn't want them to get a 3 out here, though a 7 stage with all freshes isn't bad. Definitely knowing that you can get way more stages. You can get an 8 stage or a 9 stage here if you play this right. And just holding this cross, Jake is kind of just waiting on the cross, waiting for the opportunity to run it up. I don't think they're convinced that if they take the tag that they'll be able to make it out. Definitely very risky. If he were to, say, get sniped. And right now, this snipe is going to determine if the killer will get the 9 stage, or if they're going to get the just like a 7 stage here, because I think if they get out, which they will, I think Nancy is just going to take that hatch across the map. So I think this is just going to be that 3-man out of 7 stages, all fresh. And yep, she is just going to be taking that out. So really well played from the survivors there, defeating that 3-gen and getting the 3-man out. But definitely a good win con having 7 stage 4 freshes. That's definitely not a bad result. So we'll see if Archon's killer can match that here shortly. Hello everybody, we're back in on the 4th round of this matchup, and what may be the last game, depending on if our killer here can meet that win con of an 8 stage with all freshes. And unlike the last game, our killer is going to be seeing a survivor here really, really early, and going to be taking this chase and just full committing, not really interested in holding the cross like our last killer, but instead just going for an early chase onto our Adam here. Shack pallet is going to be getting rid of very early, just dropping it without any hesitation. And we're going to see a nice crow hitting the Atom here. And will this be a tag? I think the Atom does a great job dodging that, baiting out the bird, and just going to be denying that tag here. And unfortunately, getting hit to this pallet loses a lot of distance here. Unfortunately, just not getting the speed boost, it being wasted on that pallet drop. And Atom is actually going to commit to dying on this pallet here. And we're going to see if somebody is nearby. Actually, Renato just being a little bit too ready, and unfortunately gonna get caught out here going for that save. So still waiting nearby, trying to push for the pallet save still. Will he be able to get it? No, actually there's actually 2 survivors here going for this pallet save, so our killer has to be worried about it from both ends. This is a lot of resources put into this pallet save for certain. That's 2 survivors who aren't doing gens here. And a tag also coming through, so not getting the pallet save and using both survivors to go get it. I mean, that's a huge time sink. The pain res also coming out on that one and only survivor who is doing a generator across the map. So that is going to be that first hook stage coming through at 5 generators. The last killer did also get a hook pretty early, but I think there was a lot of gen pressure for that first hook stage, so we did see 3 generators come through by the time that that survivor hit second stage. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have as much gen pressure this game from our survivors, but we'll see if they can hopefully match that pace here shortly. Renato getting hit by a bird here. That first generator does go, so not too bad. But unfortunately, Renato trying to get rid of his birds will be giving up a free tag here. So 2 survivors being injured, nobody really able to come for this save safely. They would have to trade. Does see the ace on the cross, but he is just going to be leaving and running it back up topside. And does get the bird on ace. If this is a snipe, this would be a really bad position for our survivors here. But ace is able to deny the tag, so he won't be getting that tag here. Won't be 3 people injured, but our survivor is hitting second stage, so. And they are stacking that generator over here. Gonna be both getting hit with severed hands, and our killer gonna go for a snipe. If they get sniped here, this would be horrible for our team here. They are going to get sniped, unfortunately, just not able to dodge in time. So now you have a slugged survivor, a guy about to die on hook. Ace gonna be forced to trade here. And actually missing. The Atom gonna be using BT to try and help our survivor here, but Ace is just not going to be able to make anything, and if our survivor were to vault that, they would just get grabbed. So just gonna have to go into this corner, and unfortunately I don't think the save was really worth it. So Atom is just gonna be getting picked up and put onto a hook once again. That generator does pop on this side of the map, but our other survivor is still slugged, getting picked up now. And do they have a gen on... do they have a 3 gen down here? I think they do still, so that is a bit complicated for our serves for certain. Yeah, I only see 2 generators topside, so I assume that is the 3 gen on the bottom side still. So, and Ace not going to be going down here to that snipe, and he's just going to be making it all the way into the top side. Our killer is committing. Honestly, this is such a good position for them to be in. They do have all 3 survivors injured, 3 generators still remaining, and they're already in that 3v1. So, it's kind of the exact position that you want to be in as killer if you're looking to get an 8 stage or really high stages. Just having somebody out super early. And honestly, I think they are in a position to 4K here, to be honest. That down is going to come through. I imagine this will be a pain resonance. And yep, that is a pain resonance being used. So whatever gen progress they do have has been diminished by 20%. Somebody should be on this top side waiting for this pull, so I imagine it will be a pretty fast pull, just to get rid of some of that pressure that the killer has here. And our killer has just walked all the way down bot side trying to see if they can spot a survivor trying to work this 3 gen here. And Shack does have progress, but not finding anybody quite yet. So they are going to be sending birds top side to where they think the reset is, and going to be trying to interrupt that. But there's a good chance that our survivors will skip the reset and just try and play this really aggressive and pop as many generators as they can. But it does put them at risk, since that means their chases will more than likely be a little bit shorter. But it looks like they did actually go for the reset, so they're going to be getting that double reset up here. That does help their team out a little bit. Going to make it so you have multiple survivors healthy, and does take some of the pressure off the team. They did get Killer Instinct down on the bottom side of the map, so they do know where that survivor is. Not really interested in doing anything except for committing to this chase right now. And the Yuichi playing this really well. Gonna be baiting that window vault and just wasting a lot of time on that window in general. Gonna be getting multiple vaults out of it and denying the killer attack for a really long time. Artist is a very strong chase killer, but our Yuichi is just doing a fantastic job denying them the bird hits, denying them the M1s, and so much so that our killer is actually going to just be dropping them and going back into this bottom side of the map looking for that injured survivor. Going to be dry kicking this generator, and our injured survivor is kind of already out of here. So honestly, the last set of survivors were able to break a 3-gen in a 3v1. So honestly, it's been a long while since our killer has had a tag or a down. So it's very possible that this might be what our survivors need to pull it back a little bit here. The Yuichi just having these good chases and buying so much time for their team, but unfortunately not going to be able to get that, avoid that bird, and they're going to be taking that M1 tag. It looked like he was kind of struggling to fit through those tires there, so our killer decided, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to fit through that, and they did choose to just go around. And unfortunately, a little bit of a moonwalk mind game here is going to get the Yuichi down. So, if I'm correct, this is going to be another pain resonance. So, if they were getting close to popping generators, this will deny them those generators. But I think at this point, they will have a lot of gen pressure on probably one of these gens top side, and then another one bot side. This is probably the ace up here while the Renato has been working that bot side gen spread. Yep, this generator is really progressed. So, we'll probably see one generator popping here shortly on the bottom side. But unfortunately, that is not going to be a balanced landing, so Ace will be taking attack here, taking the bird as well, and going to be just running to the side of the map. Yep, that is the generator popping. I think that is a live coming out, and it looks like he's actually going for a trade here. Waiting for the severed hands to bird the Yuichi. But Yuichi is going to be able to get that BT based off of that. And Ace is actually going to make it away for a little while longer here. And honestly, they're actually setting themselves up here nicely. If somebody can go and finish that generator in that corner, which they will, they only have one generator left, and they do have a really nice gen spread here, actually. So, honestly, this team has really brought it back very nicely. These chases have really been going their way. They clearly have a lot of experience knowing how to play versus this killer, and actually going to win that vault. Ace just going to be running it over here to the right side of the top side of the map, and we're just wasting so much time. Did they make that? Unfortunately, not going to make that window. That will be the 6th hook stage of the game, and this generator is going to pop, I think. And that is just so incredible. Losing your tunnel out at 3 generators remaining, and having everybody injured going into it like that, and still being able to pop all generators. That is a really big feat. That is definitely not something to ignore here. That's really impressive. They are 2 hook stages away from that win con. But I'm not too certain if they do need to get another fresh. That hook stage, that fresh hook might be the difference. They are going to get that pull across the map, but I think both gates are bottom, and you do see that no one escapes death coming out, so that could be really bad for the survivors if they don't see it coming. Let me throw my bird here. I actually did lie. They actually do have a door topside, and the Noah is topside as well. The question is, this is the death hook survivor. If they can open out that bot side door and get both side survivors out, I think that will be the win, since it would be a 7 stage with 3 freshes. Whereas the last killer was able to get a 7 stage with 4 freshes, so it really depends on how much time this Ace can waste here. But I don't think our killer can commit to this. I think the survivors are just going to be able to get the out across the map. And that is the door opening. Ace is going down, but this is a death hook survivor, so that is the 2-man out. I'm pretty certain that is the win. on this set here, so we are going to be going 1-1. Let me confirm that this survivor is Deathhook. I hope I'm not getting my stages mixed up. And yeah, that is the Deathhook, so I'm pretty sure that is 1-1 for both teams. So it looks like we are going to be going into the Oni set here. Archon will be killing again here, so really well played from the survivors, kind of just bringing that back from a really complicated situation, playing their gens and their chases perfectly. So we'll be back here shortly with Archon on the killer again, and going to be seeing that Oni, so yeah. Hello everybody, we are in on the Oni set, and we're going to be seeing here between these next two rounds who is going to be taking the win home today, Archon or Sympathy. We do have Archon playing Oni here, and Sympathy on the serves once again. Archon was able to take the Blight set, and Sympathy was able to take the Artist set, so going to be seeing this tiebreaker. And our Oni's going to be getting rid of those main building doors really early into the game and looking for a survivor, and does find one stealthing on this 4-lane here. This is kind of a good find for the Oni since 4-lane isn't really super duper safe. But our survivor is going to be making it to this God Rock filler here, so Oni going to be testing those check spots a little bit, but the ace is just going to vault once and hold W. I assume that is alive coming out, so going to get rid of that pallet and just move back into the top side. Does see some survivors pushing this top mid-gen here. Never a bad idea to just try and stack out these generators that you see in that top middle part on 9 and on top mid, excuse me. And I think honestly this is a 5-gen top side, so that is going to complicate things for our survivors here for certain. Yeah, they have 9 mid, 11 main 1, so they have that typical topside 3-gen, but they also have 2 middle gen, so a bit unfortunate for our survivors here to have this RNG, but they are going to just have to play around it and see if they can get one of these gens out really early. They did already get rid of one of those strong tiles, the jungle gem on 3. Gonna be seeing this sprint burst coming out, and Renato is gonna run to that top mid filler. Doesn't want to interrupt main quite yet. There is another survivor already running to main. So, actually losing sight of them. Are they in these lockers with head on? I get the feeling that they might be. Yep. Very patient from our Fang to wait on that head on, and thankfully did not get baited, so I won't give that tag quite yet. But kind of stuck on this double window here. But a really good vault from the inside that the Oni just didn't expect. So they are going to be getting away without giving a tag here. And Bloodlust is building though, and they're heading over to an LT. I think that we're going to be seeing a hit very shortly here. Since this is really not the safest tile. Fang going for a pre-drop on this filler here. Killer is just going to be Bloodlust here. Will she be able to make this top mid filler? I don't think she will. Bloodlust 2 is just way too strong here. That hit is going to be coming through on that top mid part of the map. The first generator will be popping. What generator was that? I think it was definitely one of the top side generators. So they are moving forward and doing what they need to do, getting rid of that top side gen spread. And now playing this bot side filler, popping 2 of those top side generators. Really well played from our survivors. Fang just completely leaving the tile and going over here to Shack, wasting a lot of time. Bamboozle going to be coming out, and looks like he's just committed to this M1 down here. Not really interested in just breaking off from the survivor, popping power, and going topside. But yeah, I think he knows he needs to now. If he doesn't, he's going to lose that regen topside forever. But never mind, as I say that, I am corrected. He's actually using his power here to commit to the Fang and try and get this down here instead of committing to an M1. I think we're going to see at least another gen pop topside, and a lot of progress up there. Is just going to be picking this and going for that hook. I think our survivors are actually stacking this, trying to confirm that they're going to break this topside 3-gen here. That was a Pain Resonance coming out, so that will most likely be that 3rd gen, but I think leaving going for that injured survivor with your power might have been a bit of a mistake, since I don't know if he's going to have enough blood here. He actually will, and he's going to be popping his power again, and going to be heading into that top side of the map. The question is, are the survivors going to commit? Actually, never mind, he's not going to go into the top side of the map. He is just going to head back for the Fang here. Going to be doing a good job of blocking the window, but I'm pretty certain she's going to make this pallet here. So, going to be using quite a bit of his power already, and there is no longer a 3-gen for our killer to hold. I'm pretty certain he has these 2 gens bot side and then 2 more top side. This Fang has been doing such a good job of juking out this Oni, playing around the M1, playing around the power. So, gonna be using pretty much all of his power here to get this second stage. And the flashlight save, no! Oh my goodness, that was so close. Just unfortunately, like a slight second too late. Had he ran for it, I think he might have made it. But still a really crazy position for our survivors to be in here. Realistically, they don't even need to be on these bot side gens. They can just work the 2 top side gens they have. And honestly, because he's been so committed to using his power on this injured survivor, he really doesn't have any blood to fully commit to any random chase on a survivor, unless you catch a Yunjin going over here and just giving a free tag. So they are going to be given that tag. Going to be getting half of their power back and heading into this bot side for this tunnel out. I don't think our survivors... I think they're missing a generator here. It seems like they're convinced that they have a gen spread bot side that does not exist, so... And Fang gonna be having some nerves to still here, not choosing to vault. And really doesn't choose to vault, but vaults now on the swing, gonna be missing. And gonna be making it away to this 4 lane. This is a pretty unsafe tile, but actually baiting him into thinking that she would go for the window. And she is not going to win this 4 lane, so that will be the down. The question is, how much gen pressure can the survivors get from this? Our killer definitely has enough blood now. They are actually popping that 4 generator. There's no way they can commit to this. Yeah, Renato is going to be stealthing, trying to play to get back on this generator here shortly. Killer going up the map to see if they can get some blood here, but I think he's going to turn around and come back bottom. I don't think they can pop this. No, they unfortunately don't know that the Oni can hit multiple people at once, and this might be turning into what should have been probably a 6 stage into a 4K, especially if he finds this last survivor here. Whether or not this is going to be a 4K or less is going to really be all dependent if the ace can stealth this out and get those pickups. And the Oni is going to just be going down bot side in power. They still have another top side generator, so it's definitely not over just because those 2 went down, but that was so incredibly risky from them. And Pain Res is going to be coming out and just destroying this generator. It is going to be probably taken from what was basically 99 to all the way to 0, so... Yep, that is going to be a Pain Resonance over here. Going to be hitting that last gen, and the question is, can Ace get the pickup onto Renato, or is he going to play for a pull here on the Yunjin? Oni is suspecting that he will go for the pull, so checking edge map here, seeing if the ace is stealthing there for this pull. Doesn't find anybody, so going to be going back to where he last saw the Renato. And yeah, this is so unfortunate for our survivors. What a unfortunate turn of events to lose that generator here. Ace is running in for the pull, so they will be getting the Yunjin off this hook, and we'll see if our Oni does go back to pick up the Renato here, or if it's just going to be the ace moving for that pickup. But the Oni does get power, and it looks like he's going to commit topside to where the Yunjin ran. So it looks like our ace will be able to get that pickup on the Renato. And unfortunately, the Yunjin vaulting into our Oni's arms. So that will be the second stage coming through onto our survivors. And just going to be collecting blood once again, getting his power up. Unfortunate. Now he has 2 survivors injured on the map, so he's going to have that steady stream of blood here. And he's going to be able to get another pop. There's a Weasel under this generator, putting him, I believe, at the fourth regression event for this generator. Somebody is getting this pull. It is the injured Renato. And, I mean, they're going to have to defend this Renato. But unfortunately, just not going to be able to make it. The Yunjin could not fully commit to body blocking unless she would go down, and that would be the death hook for our Yunjin. This will probably be another Pain Res coming out on this generator. And even if it isn't, he will have a Pop Goes the Weasel to regress it. Gonna be popping his power just to maybe go for this ace, but also being able to use that mobility to keep an eye on the hook here. And ace trying to juke out, but unfortunately getting caught. And this is your 4th fresh hook, so that would award you another pain risk, but not quite satisfied with it's going to head into that top side part of the map. And I think if the Yunjin goes down, that's going to be GG since she is Death Hook. She will be able to juke this one out, go for a little spin, and make it to Card Palette. And our killer is almost out of power here. I think she needs to dodge one more dash here. But actually going to just decommit and go down to that bottom side of the map. And take the hook onto this ace. He has not moved, he has been recovering, so that will be another hook stage coming out on this top mid hook. And he has used all his pain resist here, so he is out of the that sort of regression, and he will need to kind of walk all the way up or down the map if he wants to apply Popka as a weasel to a generator. Does see the engine, but not quite going to commit, just baiting her. Trying to see if he can force her to come all the way up. Renato is hard pushing this generator, but I don't think he has anything over here. So unless he has a 99 sprint burst, I think that he will be going down here shortly. But he does have the Z wall, unfortunately. Not going to be winning that 50-50 volt, so that will be the second stage coming out onto our Renato. And yeah, just so unfortunate seeing this go from such a powerful, strong position for our survivors and moving into this 4K1 territory. But unfortunately, that is just kind of the nature of Oni. That at any point, this killer can kind of turn it into a huge snowball and make things go in his favor. So he is going to be checking behind main, seeing if he can see somebody going for this rescue. And if he doesn't find anybody, I reckon he'll go down to this part of the map and, yeah, does find the ace, who, if I am correct, does not have anything to work with. So that will be the down coming through onto him, and another slug. Oh, and unfortunately, Young Jin was here as well, trying to stack out this generator and get it done, but unfortunately, just did not have enough time. So that will be the 4K1. What an absolute turnaround from our killer here. He really brought that back, just committed to that tunnel out, and were able to deny that final generator. And just from that alone, they were able to take that really rough start and turn it into a 4K1. So definitely a formidable result. And we'll have to see if the other team can manage to get a 4K2 if they want to win this, or the survivor team will pop all generators here. And that is an adrenaline on the ace, so he is going to have the opportunity to maybe play for doors here, but he does have the resilience on his build, so that would give him a little bit of time here to get the gates open, since it would be a little bit faster. But our Oni is going to have power, so he's going to have that unlimited mobility, so it will be really difficult for our ace to get this door if our Oni were to pop their power. Checking on this gate, and yeah, probably just going to go back and forth between these gates until his power runs out. I think the only way the ace could manage this is to wait until he completely uses his power, and then hop right on the gate while he's maybe checking the other door or trying to collect more orbs. So I think that is what he's going to have to do here. And yep, it looks like that's what our ace is doing, just waiting it out right now. Trying to hide himself so that he isn't too close to the door and doesn't get caught out. And oh my goodness, the killer is so close to this door, or to this ace, excuse me. That definitely could have been the find, but is not going to be it. And our ace is going to be getting on this door with Resi. I think if he 15%s it, he has a chance, but yeah, he is going to be 15%ing it. Will he be able to get away just in time and hide himself? And it looks like he was able to stealth this out for now. But our Oni is able to kind of see both doors, even from a little whiles away. So our ace is just going to, I think, have to get lucky and time this perfectly. Like I said, he does have Resi, so might be a little bit faster. But I think our killer did spot him hiding in this edge map. So I think, unfortunately, that is going to be him getting caught out. And that is going to be the GG's. We see our killer take this last chase onto the ace, and we'll see how long he can last. But yeah, that will be the confirmed 4K1. There's no way our ace will be able to escape here, so... Gonna be using that live, getting himself a little bit of distance, but unfortunately these pallets have already been used, so ace is going to have to do some crazy pathing to get away from here. Actually it does actually do exactly that, and is going to be making it all the way back to check. But this Bamboozle Volt, I think, will get him to down, since ace will not be able to make it back to the maze tile. I see our killer and our survivor having a little bit of fun, so yeah, that will be the down, and that will be the confirmed 4K1. So just going to be taking this hook and ending the game here. Alright, we will be back with Sympathy on the killer against Archon serves, and see if Sympathy's killer can snowball this and turn it into the 4K2 that they need to win. Hello everybody, we are in on the final round of Archon versus Sympathy. Gonna be having Sympathy here on the killer versus Archon survivors, and if Sympathy wants to take this win home, they are going to have to get a 4K2 here. So, gonna be going for a very aggressive build here, skipping the Bamboozle, actually going for crowd controls, hoping it will buy them a little bit more value. And I think it actually is going to get them a lot of value here. They're going to be able to force this Jake away from main building, since crowd control will have that window blocked for a very long time. And our killer actually choosing to break this pallet and zone the Jake into this double window here. And Jake just making a slight mistake, getting caught out on the the window vault, but actually has these two windows that are kind of perfectly lined up, so... But he's going to be blocking every single window in this radius here, so that is going to be a really early tag. Crowd control, getting our killer a ton of value. Typically that sort of setup, having two windows basically right next to each other, would make things really complicated, but... they were able to get that that hit really early, and they're actually going to be able to get this down, because crowd control still had that main building vault blocked off, so he wasn't able to vault. Yeah, was forced to run upstairs and did not have that balanced landing to get himself out of that situation, so that's going to be a really early down, and we're getting this pain res nice and early for his team here. It's very much a faster pace compared to last game, where our killer was kind of floating around looking for a tag for a little while, but our survivors do have a lot of gen pressure. They're going to be getting this save really early, and going to be committing over here. Looks like he wants to go for the Jake and get this tunnel out. He is just a few orbs away from his power. The problem is, though, they did cleanse crowd control, so our killer is out of any method of blocking the windows here. Not going to be able to hit that flick, so he is just going to have to play this pallet and gets rid of it, and Jake will be able to make it to Chef. Drops his firecracker, does get the blind, and our killer's just going to be zoning him to the back of Shack, not going to give him the space, and we'll be getting that down. Eruption will proc. So, gonna be getting another hook stage with no generators popping yet. And this is going to be a basement hook as well. So, it's going to be a bit difficult to save this Jake, especially if our killer is able to get another tag here and be able to rush back to the basement in power. That is the first generator popping, and I imagine we do have some more generator progress somewhere across the map. I think that was a missed skill check we heard in the distance, so I'm not too certain what I just heard. And they're just going to be walking around. There is a missed skill check and a survivor sprint bursting it up the map. And they are going to get that tag that we were talking about. So, kind of the same situation as last game, where our killer was kind of in a position where, and somewhere along the way in this tunnel out, they did not have any more blood orbs, but the tag was handed to them, so they were able to get their blood source, blood economy back up, as a friend of mine would call it. So they're going to have that blood up on the top side of the map for later. And choosing not to hit this arena, though I think, yep, they are going to take it. I think that is the correct decision. Really increase the amount of blood they're going to have on the map at any given moment. And they are going to commit to this Jake in power. Does Jake even make anything? No, they don't. And that is going to be Eruption proccing and stopping that generator over there. Going to actually slug this out. And a beautiful flick there, gonna be getting him the down. And this is looking like a really complicated situation for our survivors here, since they are going to have this death hook coming through. Another survivor injured on the map and another survivor down, so... But we did see on the Blight set that, you know, even in really dire situations, our survivors were able to really put up a fight and pop all the generators. So definitely, I don't think it's quite over yet. We have had multiple comebacks on both the Blight and the Artist set, so... But that is going to be the Pain Res coming through and getting rid of a lot of progress on this generator that was so far along. And... like I said, still another survivor injured across the map. Still has 2 pain reses and the eruption in the back pocket. So much blood on the map that I think our survivors are just in a really dire situation here. Since our killer can just apply eruption and use their power to get downs really fast. They don't even necessarily need that pain res right away. Does find this generator that the Zarina was working, gonna get their power, hit it with eruption, and I imagine they're gonna proc this power and commit to a chase here. Zarina is still on the back of Shack, so a little bit zoned here. And she does read this correctly. And is gonna go for the vault, but she's right behind you, unfortunately just sliding off of her. And actually going to force Locker. If he gets a pain res, I think he might be able to stop that generator if they are stacking it. Eruption is also going to proc on this gen, so just getting rid of all that progress that our survivors have worked so hard for. And yep, that is that pain resonance, so they are going to stop both just this gen and that gen. And we still have that survivor injured. Our killer still has a ton of blood. I'm not certain how our survivors are going to get out of this. They could cut their losses and get on those topside gens, which they already are on one of them, and maybe just go for that tie here, rather than going for the win. But he does find the Claudette here, who is going to be forcing Locker. But the thing is, the Ace is going to be working that gen all the way on 11. Does he make it all the way down? I don't think he's going to commit to popping, since that would reveal his location. Yep. And so he's going to be able to make it all the way down and get this save. And our Oni did not use pretty much any power there. So if he were to commit to that Ace here and get that pain res, he would deplete that progress on 11 as well. And that would be most of the generators that they spent so much time on here being pretty much zeroed out. That generator on Shack does still have some progress. But our killer is kind of just walking around looking for a survivor. I think he might have seen something in the distance. Yep, does see some scratch marks. Right, sees the Ace going to try and pop that generator. And will he be able to stop that generator from popping? Does find, yep, the survivor here. They're going to be playing this Ormond tile. And is he going to get it? Yes, he does. Incredible job from our killer navigating that tile. It's a bit of a tricky tile to navigate, so he's going to be able to get that down. He's actually going to head right back to Hook. And I think he wants this Ace here to see if he can get that last final pain res and get rid of all that progress. But not going to be able to spot him out, so just going to be heading back to this arena and take that Hook. They might be able to pop Shack in the meantime. We'll see if our killer is going to opt to kick that gen on 11, get it erupted, or if they're going to just run down and try their hardest to make sure that that Shack gen doesn't pop. But Ace is here. And if they're on that Shack generator, if that pops, that would be really good for our survivors. And yeah, I think our killer knows this, and they just want to... Oh, actually, they're not even on that Shack generator. They're actually pushing this generator on one, kind of not playing this the way that Oni expects. He keeps thinking they're going to be on that generator that has so much progress, but sometimes the smart thing to do is to just go for a completely different generator. And even though you are starting fresh, you avoid the Oni knowing where you are. Our killer is just committing all the way down for Zarina. Are they just going to get enough blood? And actually, Shack has been regressing this whole time, so it has lost a lot of their progress. And our killer, knowing this, is going to be running back up into that top side. And Claudette already knows this and has pre-stealth off the generator. So, well played from them. He swings around the corner trying to see if he will, Do you see a survivor here? No, he did not. Seeing if anybody is on it, but not finding anybody around. But little does he know they are just the teensiest bit over there. Does see that crow land. Will he be able to put it together and find the Claudette crouching? No, just going to decommit from this. And unfortunately, just looking in the wrong area here. Head down the map to these generators. A misco check on Shaq, but unfortunately that is all his power, so not finding that Claudette there is really unfortunate. And they're gonna pop this gen as well. And that generator on 1 is so progressed, I don't think they're even gonna be aiming for the Tycon. Ace is just going into basement. I think they know that if he forces Locker down here, that there's no way that without that pain res, they're going to be able to stop this generator from popping. So I think they are just going to be able to meet this win con here. They're going to go for the double. He is going to try and drag them out. Does he have a pain res close enough? I don't think he does. It is going to be a second off, unfortunately. That will be the 5th generator of the game popping. Our killer played it really well, but unfortunately the survivors were just able to split their gens, play their chases, and deny them the ability to hold that gen spread. So that will be Archon taking the win here for today. So well played to them. And Sympathy is just going to be grabbing their power and playing this for the best result they can, heading back up to where they last know the survivors were. And they do see these blood pools here, headed for the door, so... Let's see, is this the Claudette or the Zarina? I think this is the Zarina. And the Claudette is actually getting the door open across the map, so definitely not a bad result for our killer here to get such high stages, but unfortunately just not enough for the win today. I think the Claudette is going for that pull, and actually never mind, she is just going to be taking me out here, so... if I'm correct, I believe that is an 11 stage, so just a stage and a gen off from that win con, so definitely a really tight matchup here, and both sides really played it well, just generating that pressure onto the Survivor team, and honestly, like I said, there's been some amazing comebacks today, so really well played, and we're going to be back here shortly with another matchup, and pretty much right away, because it is already for EST, so... we'll be back here shortly with that, and we hope to see you guys there.